This is the Angels POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Los Angeles Angels. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Hello, Halo Nation. Hello, Halo hopefuls, and welcome back to the latest edition of the Locked On Angels POSTCAST, coming at you live, as always, after every single Angels game, right here live on the Locked On Angels YouTube channel, and after the fact, both on the channel and wherever the heck you get the Locked On Angels audio podcast feed. If you don't know who I am, what's going on, everybody? My name is Gavin Carlson, former credentialed journalist in the LA area, spent 4 years covering UCLA sports, specifically with the Daily Bruin, and now in year 2 with the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. Our team, it's the Angels, and tonight, just one of those games. The Angels don't get blown out or anything. Certainly wasn't an impressive performance from the Angels, wasn't an awful performance from the Angels, but a really weird game tonight. 7 combined runs, 4-3 the final. The Angels fall to the Royals. All 7 runs coming via the home run. 4 solo shots from the Royals and a 3-run home run from Luis Rengifo in this ball game. The Angels had an opportunity to get a sweep. Would have absolutely loved to see that. But the Angels still leave Kansas City with their first series win in the month of September, and their first series win since the sweep of the Dodgers in mid-August. Before that, you have to go all the way back to July to look at a series win for the Angels. Shout out to everybody in here, as always. Again, another show where I'm not able to start right after the game ends. You see me wearing the button-down shirt. You see the hair all crazy. In fact, it's looking rough. So why not use an excuse to put the hat on? Even after a loss, let's put the hat on. Vinny went out of his way to give this to me at the game, so might as well sport it. I got the MLB draft look again, button down with the hat. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate it. Still being in here, despite the Angel season being, not a playoff race anymore, and despite me starting late. Really appreciate it. I promise you, I'm starting as early as I freaking can. When I say I was sprinting to the train to make sure I would not miss the train that got me here at this time, I mean it. I literally was sprinting from my office to the train, but we are here, and shout out to all of you guys here with me. Without further ado, let's not yap, and I want to have a different conversation to start today's show. We're going to talk about the specifics of this game, but let's have kind of a baseball talk today after what we saw in this one.
This is what you'll be talking about.
I want to hear your guys' opinions on this game. If you sat and watched this game from start to finish, right? And I'm sitting here watching this game, again, mostly jogging and then while on the train, and I'm watching it closely, and it kind of dawned on me, as someone who is 23 years old, as someone who's certainly a younger baseball fan, who is born and raised and certainly currently right now well in the middle of this new era of baseball where it's launch angles and it's home runs and it's strikeouts, right? And you hear all the old heads complain about it. You hear some of the guys in between still complain about it. You hear maybe guys my age, guys and gals my age maybe defend it, right? But despite me being the 23-year-old, I'm sitting here watching this game and going, certainly this is a game that, defends. It's easy to defend the anti-modern baseball, anti-launch angle, anti-home run or strikeout crowd. They certainly win tonight, right? Because I'm sitting here watching this game, and I don't know about you guys, but it wasn't very exciting, right? It was not a very entertaining baseball game to watch. And of course, there's going to be plenty of games that are far more boring when it's 1-0, right? When there's nothing going on. Although even 1-0, maybe you could say there's pitching excellence. I don't know. But, I like most people, call me a casual, I like seeing a high-scoring baseball game. But I'll tell you, not like 7 runs is high scoring, but it felt underwhelming. It did not feel like a 7-run ball game when all 7 home runs come via the home run. Just 11 hits combined between the two teams. So it's not like this was a huge offensive game. All 3 runs coming for the Angels in the top of the first, a 3-run shot from Luis Rengifo, and literally the Angels do nothing the rest of the ball game, but they almost barely even had a hit the rest of the ball game, right? Taylor Ward with a 2-out single, then a 2-out walk from Joe Adell, then the 3-run homer from Luis Rengifo, and another walk after that from Chris Taylor. So the Angels have 2 walks and 2 hits in the first inning. The rest of the ball game, just 4 hits. They did have another 4 walks, but it still did not feel that entertaining. It did not feel that entertaining, I'll tell you. Just watching this game, the Royals hit 4 home runs, and even Royals fans would probably say it did not feel like it, right? It was just kind of one of those games where it did remind me that the people who say they'd rather see a bunch of ground outs and line outs and more contact, maybe they had a point tonight. I don't know. That's just where I wanted to start today's show, because it certainly felt like an underwhelming game in terms of watching this game. And for us Angels fans that don't have much to look for, right? Because we're not really that narrowing down, staring at the standings, staring at our record, right? I would like the game to be exciting. And tonight, I think it wasn't, right? Especially when the Angels do nothing after the top of the first inning. David's making me laugh here. He says, I like how you made a couple calls to put the Eagles game in a lightning delay so you could do the show for us and get our undivided attention. You are good, Gavin. I'll be honest. Yeah, it was great. I get home, I walk in, I asked my parents, why isn't the football game on? They said, a rain delay just happened. I said, well, perfect. I'll get to do my show, and I'll get to watch the end of the game as well. I will also say I have Jalen Hurts and Javonte Williams in a couple of my leagues. I'm not even lying. I have 3 leagues, and in 2 of them, I have both of those guys. So I'm liking the way the football game is going more than this Angels game went tonight. We'll talk about the home runs now, and certainly it was great to see Luis Rengifo go deep in this ball game, a 3-run shot. Again, it's great to see Taylor Ward get a base hit. I mean, it's just great to see Taylor Ward playing baseball after what happened a few days ago. But it's great to see Taylor Ward get the base hit. It's great to see Joe Adell. Maybe he didn't have a huge night in terms of the home runs, of course, but able to get a walk. And then Luis Rengifo gets his 8th home run of the season. It's been a solid last week for him. He's in 286, a 476 slug in the last 7 games, a home run, 3 RBIs, 4 walks, 6 hits, 3 runs, and a pair of stolen bases in the last 7 games. The last 30, so basically a month of play for him, 95 at-bats, 26 hits, 13 RBIs, 11 walks, 22 strikeouts, 4 home runs, a 274 average with a 463 slug. So it's been a decent stretch for Rengifo. He had a very hot stretch, earlier, kind of in, I want to say late July, early August. But if you look at kind of the way this season is rounding out, certainly not one of his best. In fact, it's going to be his worst average since 2021. In 22 and 23, he had a 264 average in each season in over 125 games in both of those. I mean, those were nearly identical years for him. 264 both years, 127 games in 2022, 126 games in 2023. The big difference, a bunch of walks for Rengifo, 41 walks in 2023 compared to just 17 in 2022. He's at 31 walks right now, so he'll finish around 35 to 40 there. The home run total, half of each of those 2 great seasons for him. 17 homers in 2022, 16 in 2023, just 8, his 8th tonight. Then you look at last year where he didn't worry about the home run ball, and sure, it was only 78 games, but a 300 average for Rengifo. So still his worst year in his last 4 major league seasons, but this is a lot more respectable than it looked at the beginning of the season, right? When he was hitting in the 220s, despite not being a power guy. 247, a lot better. The 299 on base percentage is disappointing. So only, with the 31 walks, to have an on base percentage below 300 when you're not a power guy, It's not good enough. And that's why the OPS would have been 723 in 2022, 783 in 2023, and 764 in 2024. He's got a 643 OPS this season. So Nathan in here just dropping the hammer, saying Rengifo is a mid-level player, could do without him. It's crazy. It was just 1 year ago when at this exact time we were saying, glad we didn't trade Luis Rengifo. It's time to extend him. Now we're looking and going, man, maybe a year and a half ago we should have traded him at the deadline and cashed in because he's been an average player since then. I don't care about the home run numbers. I'll take the 3-run shot today, but I really don't care about the home runs. I don't really care about the slug. I just need Rengifo the same way I need Shawnuel. I need a few guys on this team to be consistent contact guys when the rest of the team is a bunch of slug guys. And so 247 is not quite good enough. But for this team, he's considered a contact hitter dang near hitting 247. Obviously, he's versatile in terms of he can play a lot of positions. The only problem is he doesn't play many of them very well. So Rengifo is not the type of guy that should be hitting in the top 6 of your lineup or being a consistent guy in the field on good teams. But on the Angels, it's kind of the perfect team for him to be on because we are not deep enough to say Rengifo does not belong in this lineup, right? And belong in the field. We need him to be a plug-and-play guy every single night in different positions. So it was good to see him have the 3-run shot. Not much for the Angels outside of that. He does go 2 for 4 in this ball game as well. So certainly he is your player of the game if you're an Angels fan like we all are. 2 for 4 with the 3-run shot. Outside of that, like I said, just 4 hits. Neto with one of them. Taylor Ward with one of them. Moncada had a nice 1-out double in the top of the 9th. Unfortunately, nothing from Oswald Peraza or Logan O'Hoppe to score Moncada. And then O'Hoppe, thank goodness, at least did have 1 hit to salvage what would have been another abysmal performance from him. We're going to take our break. When we come back, we're going to talk about the pitching, what went wrong, really on just 4 pitches, where the Royals, 4 of their 5 hits are solo shots. We'll talk about that. We'll look ahead to the next series, the homestand coming up, what we want to see out of that. We'll do all of that after our break here on a losing, but still great edition, great always edition of the Locked On Angels postcast. I'll be right back. Now, today's show on this Thursday night is brought to you by 5-Hour Energy. It's time to fuel up and turn it up with 5-Hour Energy Transfusion. This grape, ginger, and lime flavored shot brings the iconic taste of a golf course favorite to a non-alcoholic boost. Perfect for sinking birdies or making great memories with friends. It's a hole-in-one for your energy game. Whether you're out on the course or just need a little extra push to power through your day, 5-Hour Energy Transfusion delivers the clubhouse flavor you love without ever leaving the green. Golf is all about good times with good people and good flavors. The grape ginger lime flavor of 5-Hour Energy Transfusion gives you the best parts of your clubhouse go-to without leaving the course or chasing down the bev cart. And now you can amp up the fun even more. Just buy, snap, and enter for a chance to win a dream golf trip for 2 to any golf tournament in the USA. Tee up that trip. Visit 5hewin.com for full rules and entry. No purchase necessary. Excludes the Masters tournament and ends on Halloween, October 31st, 2025. Today's show also brought to you by Gametime. There's nothing like catching a baseball game live, the energy, the crowd, the chance to see your team in person. But actually getting tickets, that's the tough part. Queues, login screens, surprise fees. It takes all the fun out of it. And that's why I use Gametime, the app that gives the advantage back to fans like you and me. Gametime is fast, easy, and backed by the Gametime guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONMLB for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. Back here live on the Locked On Angels postcast. Angels 3, Royals 4. A very strange game where there's 7 runs scored combined. All 7 coming via the home run. We talked about Luis Rengifo's 3-run shot in the top of the first inning. It was a great start. The Angels up 3-0 before they've even taken the field defensively. It looks like we're on our way to a great sweep of the Royals, hurting their playoff chances a little bit while getting us one step closer to 70 wins, maybe 75. But instead, the wheels didn't fall off or anything, but slowly the Royals chipped away. It started in the bottom of the second with their first of 4 solo shots. That one, after kind of an eventful bottom of the first, let's not forget, a 1-out walk and then a single. It was first and second with 1 out before we get a nice double play with the weird situation, guys falling on the base paths and everything. But bottom of the second, Adam Frazier off of Kyle Hendricks. Just one of those classic Kyle Hendricks meatballs. An 85-mile-an-hour sinker is what they're calling it after an 86-mile-an-hour fastball the pitch before. And I'm sorry. As much as we just talked about modern baseball and maybe the flaws of it just being a home run fest at times, it's also modern baseball. You cannot throw an 85-mile-an-hour fastball or sinker or whatever right down the middle. Come on, man. I'm just tired of watching it. It's not entertaining. It's not effective. It's nothing. And Kyle Hendricks gives up the solo shot to Adam Frazier in the second. Then he gives up the solo shot to Vinny Pasquantino in the bottom of the fourth inning. Another first pitch this time. The other one was second pitch, but another fastball, 85-mile-an-hour. They're calling it a sinker again right there. And once again, they get all of it just like that. It's 3-2. They're chipping away. Again, it wasn't a horrible start from Kyle Hendricks at all. One of his better starts, ironically. He gets through 6 innings, giving up just 2 runs, just a few hits, just the two solo shots there. But unfortunately, Jose Fermin comes in, and the first batter he sees is Salvi Perez. Not a bad pitch. I'm sorry. Not a bad pitch at all. A 3-2 slider below the knees that you get him to swing at. I mean, you can't ask for anything else. And that's why context is necessary. That's why this show exists. You can't just look at the box score and see what happens, man. Fermin throws a good pitch here. I'm sorry. It's a 3-2 slider below the zone that he swings at. That's exactly what you want on a full count pitch, righty on righty. Maybe you would want it to be a little more down and away, but moral of the story is it wasn't a terrible pitch. It was just a great swing. Salvi Perez gets all of it. Unfortunately, his knee hits the ground on the swing, but it's 104 off the bat, 402 feet. That tied the game at 3. Kyle Hendricks loses his would-be win, and then the dagger in the bottom of the 8th. Bobby Witt Jr., a superstar in this league, his 21st home run on, again, not a terrible pitch, a high and in 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Couldn't be any different from the first 3 home runs there. But again, Bobby Witt Jr., just an elite player, and sometimes, rarely in this sport, but sometimes good hitting beats good pitching, and it did here. 400 feet, 104 off the bat from Bobby Witt Jr. That made it 4-3. And then, yes, the top of the 9th, we got fooled. A 1-out double from Yoel Moncada, and I'm thinking the Angels are going to do it, baby. Off of Carlos Estevez, our old friend, turned into kind of an average baseball player, let's be honest. People in here saying that they miss Estevez. I don't know, man. I don't really miss him. Obviously, he was great for us, but he's been good this year, right? He's been really good. I'm not going to act like he hasn't been. 2.54 ERA, but I don't know. Just watching this game, he was throwing meatballs. In my opinion. That at bat against Oswald Peraza, he starts with 3 straight sliders that could have been crushed, right? 2 of them called strikes, 1 of them too high to be a strike, but he's hanging sliders to Oswald Peraza. It made that 1-2 fastball in the outside corner absolutely nasty when you throw 3 sliders right before that. But I'm sorry, all 3 were hanging. If you have an elite hitter up there, he's taking one of those out without a doubt. And then Logan O'Hoppe, kind of an embarrassing at bat for him where there's 4 or 3 fastballs. He's not able to take advantage of 2 of them in the zone. And then, of course, you pull the strings on the slider to strike him out. But Angels fall 4-3. They had a great opportunity to tie the game in the 9th there with the 1-out double from Yoel Moncada, but not able to take advantage of some mistakes from Carlos Estevez. Again, you have to give your credit to Kyle Hendricks. 6 innings, just 3 hits. Did have 3 walks. They didn't play a factor in this game at all because of the 2 solo shots there. But again, you give up the 2 solo shots. That's what's going to happen when you throw such a slow meatball sinker. Fermin gives up the homer. Zephyr John gives up the homer. So not really a good pitching performance despite just 4 runs, considering all 3 guys that pitched gave up at least 1 home run. The Angels still win 2 out of 3. You'll take that. Still A-plus games, in my opinion, the first 2 games of the series. People in here ripping Mike Trout, saying he needs to wake up. He had another 2 walks today. So I get it. The average continues to trickle because he doesn't know how to get a hit, but he continues to get on base. You do realize that in his career, his Hall of Fame first ballot career, he's got a 407 on base percentage, right? I know on base percentage is not everything at all, but the on base percentage is 362 this season. It's not like the on base percentage is 299, like I just said it was for Luis Rengifo. He's had seasons with worse on base percentages than 362. Last year, very limited, but 325 OBP. The year before that, 367. The year before that, 369. You have to go back quite a while before it was lower than that. But in his rookie season, it was lower than that. 2012, it was 399. 2014, it was 377. So obviously, if the average is 10 points higher, the on-base percentage is in the 400s. So, it is what it is. It's not good enough. He's certainly not elite anymore, but he's not terrible, and he doesn't need to be ripped into considering everything he's done for this freaking franchise. But in terms of what I want to see from the team looking forward, we had an A-plus game yesterday, in my opinion. Adele being a superstar, Caden Dana having a nice start. The day before that, Joe Adele being a superstar, Mitch Ferris having a nice start, right? So about all you could ask for in those 2 games, and still a very successful series, in my opinion. So what do we want to see going forward? Well, it doesn't take rocket science to know what Gavin wants to see tomorrow with Jose Soriano on the mound against the A's. Yes, I would love to see Adele play well again. I'd love to see Ohapi maybe play a lot better. See Mike Trout maybe actually get a base hit or 2. See some of the young guys get it done. But above all else, I want to see Jose Soriano deal. He's been very good as of late. He's going up against an A's lineup that's been quietly pretty good at times with guys like Nick Kurtz and Brent Rooker and Jacob Wilson, of course. But in his last few starts, he's been pretty darn good, has Jose Soriano. The last 7, the ERA is 3.27. But if you look at the most recent 2 starts, 7 one-hit scoreless innings against the Astros on August 31st, and then on the 25th, 5 2/3, just 4 hits of scoreless baseball. 2 starts before that, 6 innings, 2 hits, scoreless baseball. So outside of that August 17th struggle fest against the A's of all teams, his last 3 have been unbelievable. And so all he needs to do is shut down the A's here, get revenge against them, and I'm ready to call him our ace in 2026. But that's what I want to see tomorrow, the rest of the series, the rest of the homestand. Let's see some of the young guys contribute. Let's see what Mitch Ferris can do in his second career start. Let's see what Caden Dana can do after his great start yesterday. Those are the 3 priorities, the 3 starting pitchers: Soriano, Ferris, Dana, and of course would like to see Kikuchi pitch well as well. But we're going to wrap this one up. Shout out to everybody in here. Appreciate the patience with another late start. Should not be a late start tomorrow. Dusty says, thank you, Mario. Have a great weekend. See you guys tomorrow. I work remote on Friday, so I should be able to go live right after the game. I'm trying to think if there's any reason I wouldn't. There seems to always be a reason, but I don't think there is one. So yes, tomorrow, jealous I'm not going to be at the game, getting that Angels Ducks cooler bag. Jealous I can't go to the game on Monday with the Mike Trout Rookie of the Year bobblehead, but I will be live after the game tomorrow right here. So expect it live right after the game. Looking forward to see you guys in here. Thank you again for the patience, all the support. Keep your heads up after the loss. It's still a very good series, and I'll see you back here tomorrow. Thank you, Deshaun. Thank you, David. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you, Dusty. Thank you, Eric, Mahoko, Hydro, everybody else. Take care and go Angels.